Welcome everyone back to Spoiler Warning. I'm your host Tom Colohue, and today, to no one's surprise, we will be talking wrestling. There is a focus pretty heavily on WWE for this one because, well, let's face it, to be fair, merged those together for some reason. We've been talking about AEW a lot recently and I just don't have too much news on it. Today we will be recapping what we know about WrestleMania for Roman Reigns, Becky Lynch and CM Punk. We're going to talk about Roman Reigns' return schedule and what we're going to see next week on SmackDown with the launch on USA Network. That is also going to include talk about Tiffany and Bayley. We've got a little bit on the Wargames card and CM Punk not being expected in Saudi Arabia, plus more information about new contract renewals that are happening with WWE talents, as well as the impending debut of Stephanie Vaca, who will be added to a new women's division in NXT, helmed by the leadership of Julia. So quite a bit to cover. We'll also naturally be answering as many of your questions as we can, and be sure to drop those questions in the chat so we can get to them as soon as possible. In the meantime, we will start with our top story today. Naturally, this is going to be built around what is planned for WrestleMania. I'm going to continue asking the following question: is Roman Reigns going to be facing Solo Sikoa or Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania? Well, so far, it is very firmly Solo Sikoa still looking to be the guy. We are already a month away from SummerSlam and then a little bit of change as well, meaning that the WWE have killed a little time to protect Solo Sikoa from Roman. That feud will continue, Roman taking his typical time off before returning with a vengeance. The next few pay-per-views will keep them apart through pretty standard fare. Bad Blood may involve some capacity of Roman versus Solo, but I expect we may see a Roman Reigns versus Tama Tonga instead. After that, we go into Wargames, where the expectation is that they will be in the multi-man match and they will not have a one-on-one. Shortly after that, of course, we will have the Royal Rumble, in which it simply is infeasible that they will wrestle each other because there's a Royal Rumble in the way. Before you know it, WrestleMania is all back around. I do expect that we're going to see Jacob Fatu versus Roman in some capacity instead, as a way to ensure that we don't get there too quickly, but that moment has not yet arrived. Just going to drop into the chat, see how people are doing. We have 58 people watching and 21 likes. Please keep those thumbs ups coming. I just want to make sure everyone's doing good before we get to our next piece of news. So, Spider-Boss says Drew beating up CM Punk and Rhea yeeting of Jey Uso was the best of Raw this week. Sean says hi, Tom. Welcome, Sean. Michael also says hi, Tom. Welcome, Michael. Bliss Gamer says howdy, everyone. I'm excited for the street fight on Monday. That should be an absolute war. Sean says I saw Giselle Shaw had left TNA. Is there WWE interest? Not to my knowledge. Declan says, have a great weekend. I hope I will, and the same to you, sir. Wrestler Fan says, will The Rock be at Survivor Series Wargames 2024? At the moment, there is not believed to be any expectation for that. Dad says, who's next for Hangman after Swerve? Well, at the moment, the only creative plan they have is Hangman versus Swerve, so let's wait and see how that plays out. Spider-Boss says, since Stephanie Vaca didn't speak much in English, I think WWE should give her a manager, or as they're actively doing, she's learning English. Marcel says, watch the pig, always and forever. Watch the pig. TJ says, Tom, I need Uncle Howdy on the card to truly make up for Bray's lost moment. That's 100% what Bray would want for his brother. Uncle Howdy, as I've mentioned, no plans at the moment to have him on a PLE card anytime soon. At least not as soon as Bad Blood. Saudi Arabia, you never can tell. Martin, welcome back to the show. Thank you massively for another very generous donation. So it's been a while since I've done it, but a little something for the house, mate. Big up, Tom. Appreciate you, Martin. Very grateful for the continued generosity. If anyone has not yet done so, please hit like on that donation. It does make a difference, and I very much appreciate it. Sid says, TNA has signed Heather Reckless. Do you know she's a good wrestler? I've never heard of her. It's not someone I'm familiar with either. Ed says, Tom, hi. Too much Jericho, mate. Too much Jericho. Hello to you too. Spider-Boss says, I'd love to see Roman versus Jacob Fatu, but I think WWE will do Roman versus Solo next year. Yes. Trekipedia says, hi Tom, I'm so glad SmackDown is leaving Fox and Hulu after tonight. The WWE are expecting to take a hit on their viewership. Sam said, I heard from Sportskeeda that Seth is coming back on Monday. Sportskeeda do not report news. We'll see what happens. Gordy says, what's up, Tom? The final Friday Night SmackDown on Fox is finally here, and over here in the States, I can confidently say quite a few people are happy that SmackDown is leaving Fox after tonight. It's interesting to get different opinions on this one, because obviously not being in the US myself, I don't know what people's opinions are when it comes to the overall level of cable and the like. It's interesting to hear. Why is that, Gordy? Danelle says, why do they want to do Solo versus Roman? Because they want to build Solo Sikoa up. The intention for every WWE wrestler is to be built up to the top level. At least that's been the case for a long time. It was under Vince. Rumours are it's not quite the same under Triple H. More on that shortly. Declan also says, watch the pig. Robin Dave says, when will Jimmy Uso return? I provided an update on 11 different WWE figures who are expected to return recently. That's on WTF Wrestling on Sunday. By all means, check it out, Robin Dave. Sean says, did you see the complaints for Julia G Trigger on Chelsea Green? Yes. And then I moved on with my life because ultimately so did they. WWE don't care. Troy says, hey Tom, hope all is well. Have a good weekend. Thank you, Troy. I appreciate that. So far, so good, I've got to say. It was oppressively hot today. The kids were sweaty as hell. Not fun. News says, hello, Mr. Colohue. How are you doing today? Doing very well, thank you. Okay, TJ, got what you said. That says big up and big up honesty. Big up TT, sir. Marcel says, when do you expect Cena to come back for the last run at Rumble or Wargames? The last run is for 2025. I do not expect him back before that. Christopher Leclerc says, I'm excited to see Bayley versus Tiffany Stratton tonight on the last SmackDown on Fox. Bayley's first match on TV since SummerSlam. She asked for a break. She got it. Trekipedia said, is SmackDown going to be on Peacock for next day showings starting next week? No, to my knowledge, there is no deal with Peacock for SmackDown. Valente says, hi Tom, hope you're well. Fightful reporting WWE have extended Shayna Baszler's contract. I'm a wee bit surprised considering the way she's been booked recently. Did you expect her to renew? Yes, I did. More on that story later. Erin says, finally catching live again. Welcome to the show, Erin. Always good to see you. Roger says, will Ospreay want a match with Drew McIntyre? Do you think it will ever happen? No. Starboss says, in which brand do you see Roxanne landing once Roxanne moves onto the main roster? She wants to land on Raw. The WWE are kind of expecting her to land on SmackDown. Drive-By says, Rock has 2 films out in November, one for Netflix. So you would think the Survivor Series is a good opportunity for some promotion. Possibly. Doesn't mean it's going to be ideal. He could always, after all being a member of the board, just advertise his movies without necessarily being there. Show Game says, happy Friday, Tom. Tony said they're on the 1 yard line when it comes to a Warner Brothers Discovery deal. Is this something we should get used to since he keeps doing this during pay-per-view build-ups? Yeah. The man's an advertiser. He's very good at that. Outside of that, Razar says, I'm so happy SmackDown is leaving Fox. Felt like they showed way too many ads compared to other shows in my opinion. It also went 3 minutes early due to the local news. Martin says, sorry to potentially ruin the mood, but was anyone else feeling weird watching the Vince trailer on Netflix? It's a fair question and I'd love to get more opinions on this one. Martin raised the question, how do you feel seeing the trailer for the Vince McMahon show on Netflix? Personally, I'm conflicted. I will probably watch it. I'm interested to see what they uncover and how much of it is actually the burial that we're expecting. That said, he will get paid for this, so I don't feel too great. Michael says, just saw a quote from Conrad Thompson that is interesting. Mr. McMahon's Netflix doc said to be an absolute double shovel burial of Vince McMahon. Some people in WWE are not happy about it. Those people need to get over it. Trekipedia says, keep sharing, subscribing and liking. Get Tom to 40 likes, please. And please do if you can, Trekipedia, if you can, everyone else. We have 76 people watching, 35 likes. Every little does help, and I very much appreciate it. Aaron said it's almost in a similar situation to MVP and Bobby Lashley. Nick Khan not seeing value. Pretty much, yeah. Ed? No, because that's only 20 degrees over here. 80. 80 is oppressive. Sean says, when do you think we see Joe Hendry in NXT again? No Mercy with a send-off for now. I think the next time we see him, it'll be long-term. Blue says, hi Tom, did I miss Odyssey Jones news? I have no update on Odyssey Jones. I have not been told that he's been fired or released, and I've not had any details about domestic violence complaints. Last I heard, No news is good news. Martin says 14 likes, still 50. Well, it's down to 2011 now. Declan, I don't know where that's come from. Once again, Sportskeeda do not report news. Then says, would you like to see John Cena versus AJ Styles? I never get bored of it. Ty says, do you think Roman or Solo is winning at Mania? Solo. I do think Solo. There's a reason I don't go to Vegas, Bayley. I would basically set on fire in the street. I've been to Florida. That hurt. Got up to 100 degrees. I couldn't breathe. Spartable says, people on social media complaining about the V-trigger. Imagine if people see Omega's V-trigger, just camera angle, and Omega just hits his opponent's shoulder. I don't think we need the whataboutery there. I think people just basically wanted any reason to attack a woman. Trekipedia says, I think Julia beats Roxanne for the NXT Women's title, defends the belt against Roxanne, then Roxanne gets called up. I don't think much different. Horatio says, are we going to get Rock versus Roman at Mania or Rock versus Cody? Rock versus Cody is a favoured match at this point in time. Speaking of WrestleMania, let's go back to our news at this point because we've got a little more on WrestleMania and Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is still at this point a free agent. She has not signed a new deal with the WWE, but there has been recent contact between Becky and the WWE, and many assurances have been made of a return in time for WrestleMania. The WWE are making creative in time for Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. They wanted assurances from Becky Lynch that she would return and sign a new deal, and the WWE are confident at this time that they have what they are looking for. I am expecting Becky Lynch to arrive around Royal Rumble time and to have a big match at WrestleMania. Ed says, I'm totally watching it just to see how it all goes down. Fair play. Very fair play. Christopher says, SmackDown will be good for Roxanne Perez. Her big sister Bayley is on SmackDown, and that is part of it. Yon says, Kermit on Reddit says, a big name re-signed this week. Who could it be? So I do want to point out that Kermit also reported that the WWE was sold to Saudi Arabia. Martin says, that's how I felt. It was weird, but was like, I want to watch it. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Wants to say Tom contra Andrew Zarian, who reported the latest Warner Brothers Discovery offer is with AEW lawyers. Yikes. Why is that a yikes? Like, lawyers are going to look over the offer. That's pretty standard. Business. Sean says, who do you see accepting Jordan Grace's open challenge on NXT this week? Not sure on that one. I don't know who she's necessarily been working with at this point. TJ says, Tommy, is there a chance we see SCSA, so Stone Cold Steve Austin, lace up his boots one last time against Punk? Extremely unlikely, not impossible. Paul Heyman would love to see that. Drive-by says, do you see Roman making any Netflix Raw appearances in January? Yes. Razal says, I'm not a fan of the Vince show. I don't think bad people deserve a platform to be showcased, but on the other hand, if done right, it can bring light to the negative things, so I don't know. Yeah, I won't have to make as many YouTube videos about this guy if ultimately the news becomes public knowledge. Gordy says, over here in the States, we've been dealing with lots of random black screens, aka censorship. A lot of preempts at a time completely ruined SmackDown on Fox. Appreciate that information. It's nice to get a wider scope of what's going on. Man says, Sportskeeda don't do news, but I've recently found the mini docs on YouTube and now watched them all. Sportskeeda mini docs? What mini documentaries are those, mate? I'm interested. Hector says, Tom, do you see Cody on the Bad Blood card? If so, who could it be? Hector, my entire card preview and predictions are already live. They went live on Wednesday for PLE Wednesday. Check them out. It's only a 10-minute video. Calvin is marking out over Julius Creed. I hope you enjoy yourself, mate. Valencia says, is AJ Styles' contract up soon? I think I read his contract was up this year, a few months ago, but can't remember the source. Sorry. Last I heard, yes, it was up relatively soon. He was intending not to sign a new one. The WWE may well have convinced him. Haven't seen much of him recently. Sean says, Roxanne versus Julia should main event the CW show, in my opinion. We'll see how much CM Punk gets involved in that. I suspect we may have CM Punk in one corner and Randy Orton in the other. That'd be funny. Spider-Boss says, it wouldn't surprise me if Roman wins at WrestleMania 41. Roman doesn't lose in back-to-back WrestleMania matches. Roman doesn't lose in WrestleMania matches at all. Welcome to the new age. Calvin says, Sportskeeda says Becky could return tonight on SmackDown. Could is carrying a lot there. Char Games says, when do you think we'll start seeing WWE promoting the signing of Delta the way they did Vaca and Julia when they feel she's ready? Drive-by says, any word on when WrestleMania tickets go on sale? Expected soon. I expect an announcement around Wargames time. Sean says, I'm surprised we haven't heard anything from that Reddit user, Kermit, recently. Got a few things wrong, shall we say. Ed says, Wendy Chu was teased on the most recent set of Impact shows. Thank you for that information. Spider-Man says, let me understand, Becky probably returning next year. That means keep watching Rhea and Liv for the next few months. There will be other competitors. Roger says, Rich Swan suspended by TNA disorderly intoxication arrest. Thank you for that. Gordy says, quite a few people, myself included, weren't exactly too happy with the amount of black screens. Marcel says, there was a pillow in the ring next to Jordan, so I think it's Wendy Chu. All starting to make a lot of sense. Trekipedia says, Gordy is right. As soon as Fox thinks they're getting nudity, they black out the screen and will shut the show off if they're afraid it will go even close to interrupting local news. Fox did make it very clear that the priority is those news shows, which are not to be treated as news, as you know, under any circumstances. Wrestler fans said that WWE done away with legend appearances for the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches. Triple H largely has. Dimitar says Britt Baker has not been on TV or even been mentioned since All In. Is there something wrong there? Yes and no. She's not happy. Spider-Boss says, watching the Who Killed WCW doc, neither Bischoff or Russo doesn't take responsibility for WCW's death, as in nobody who killed it takes responsibility. Gotcha, Martin, I get what you're saying. TJ says, Tom, I'm just curious, do you think in the long term Triple H has big plans for Bo/Uncle Howdy to make him a main eventer, as clearly he's one of the most popular characters right now in the WWE? Long term is difficult to state. There are no real intentions to have him main eventing anywhere before the next season. I have mentioned before that the Wired Six are a long-term, not a short-term story. Jason Curry says, I suspect Britt Baker has gone the way of Ricky Starks. I'm a Villain says, happy Friday, Tom. Do you think we can see Cena versus AJ in a retirement match? Whoever loses has to retire. No, but I do think we'll get a match between the two of them. Hector says, with the SmackDown Fox deal ending soon, did anyone actually come out of that deal really winning, regardless of if the WWE got paid? A lot of wrestlers did. There was a pretty big boost in viewership, and it was a real help. Trekipedia says, agreed, Tom, and Fox has done that to other shows like Gotham. They felt a news break was more important. Funny when they have their own news channel. Very true. Declan says, when will Bianca turn on Jade? You're assuming that Bianca will be the one to turn on Jade. Personally, I go in the other direction. Bayley says the news that follows SmackDown on Fox is for local affiliates, not the cable hosts who shield for a certain 78-year-old candidate. Thank you for the clarification. Shower Game says, hey Tom, just a heads up, I'm getting some freezing. Not sure if it's just me, but I know you're always curious to know when this happens. I am always curious. I appreciate that, Shower Game. It allows me to quickly check if there's been any frame skipped. Has anyone experienced any problems when it comes to the stream so far? If you have, let me know in the chat right now. Spider-Boss says it says a lot that even Tony Khan hasn't mentioned Britt Baker after All In 2024. He hasn't been asked, to be fair. We are currently at a point of 90 people watching, 46 likes. 4 more gets us to 50, a great number to have. Looks like we've got some good news. No freezing for Valencia, no freezing for Ed, no problems for Trekipedia. Good to know. Thank you everyone for clarifying. I'm a Villain says hit that like button, and Roger says my YouTube stream is going good. Next up, one more piece of news about WrestleMania. CM Punk has now completed a repackaging of his initial contract deal. That may well be a big name that has signed a new deal. It is not necessarily a pay rise, pardon me, but it is a bit less wrestling to help protect his body. The WWE are thrilled and excited to put him in a strong position come Wargames. Though what I will say as regards WrestleMania, the plan is not to wrestle for a championship at this point in time. The one-on-one grudge match between Seth Rollins and CM Punk still seems set to be the intention. He will not be wrestling for championships. As regards championships, yes, there are rumours that he could face off against Gunther. What I will say is that so far, Gunther has not been given an option to choose his own opponent at all, which suggests a prolonged championship reign. Almost everyone who wins a championship and holds it for more than a couple of months gets an option of who they would like to face. Even Liv Morgan got Shayna Baszler, for example. So a bit of news about the Wargames card. CM Punk versus Gunther was leaked intentionally to try and see if people were interested in seeing it. While I do see CM Punk and in fact Drew McIntyre taking a break after their feud has wrapped up, CM Punk versus Gunther is getting a lot of good interest behind it. Declan says no problems at all, thank you kindly. Aaron says let's get to 50. Danelle says who's Cody facing at Bad Blood? My predictions for the Bad Blood card are already live. They went live on Wednesday for PLE Wednesdays. Check out that playlist. It's all there for you to check out. Spider-Ball says if WWE ever break up Bianca and Jade, I think Jade will be the one who turns on Bianca. The best of Jade was when she was a heel in AEW. Marcel says who do you expect as a match for Bayley at Mania? Maybe Roxanne. I would love that as a concept. My card for WrestleMania is also already live in the PLE Wednesday playlist. Dad says as regards to stream, it's okay. Appreciate you. Noob says when and where will we see Asuka make a return in 2025? News on that is in the WWE Returns video, which went live on Sunday as part of WTF Wrestling. Gordy says according to WrestleVotes, WWE is set to make a big announcement in the next few days about the first NBC Live primetime special. It's rumoured to be in December on a Saturday. That would be a pretty big coup for the WWE. TJ said, understood sir, that sounds exciting. I want big things for Bo and the Wyatt 6. If you haven't already checked out my video on this, I have a video in the WTF Wrestling playlist, which is basically referring to the Uncle Howdy verse. You may enjoy that if you've not already seen it, TJ Killer. Trekipedia says, Tom, do you think the American Nightmare versus Cody case will get thrown out? I don't. I think the WWE actually are in a bit of trouble here, and I think they're going to have to pay pretty heavily through the nose. I genuinely think they're going to have to. Also, I think long term, the best thing they can do is pay through the nose. It might be the best way to keep this one quiet. Martin says, maybe I'm in a minority here. I didn't enjoy the Howdy match on Raw. Great promo, etc. But I could see why it's not on a PLE at the moment. Hopefully we don't have the Bray issue that Triple H said once. True. Thank you, Martin. Blair says, Tom, are you just going stash only? No, it's just that this part has grown a little faster than this part, but very much the satanic goatee is still in play. Barnabas says, any update on when we could see the Judgment Day defend the tag team titles? No, it's weird, isn't it? Weird. Jason, I see what you're saying. I thought you were talking to me about how to fix it, but no, I appreciate what you're saying there, Jason. I'm a Villain says, when can we see Lucha Bros in WWE? If they sign. If they sign. At this point in time, I've not had any confirmation of a signing. Trekipedia says, let's go for 60 likes, 6 more to get us there. And Declan says, predictions on Crown Jewel. They will go live after Bad Blood. I always make sure every month when there is a PLE, I will be predicting the entire PLE card via PLE Wednesdays. Spider-Boss having no problems on the Twitch side. Bradar says, any update on Charlotte? Thought she'd be back by now. Update on Charlotte is in the WWE Returns video as part of WTF Wrestling, which went live on Sunday. Trekipedia says, makes sense, Tom, and I could see WWE and that band settling with maybe a music appearance on WWE TV. That certainly could be a way that the band can get themselves a bit extra notoriety and WWE could drive down the price. Doesn't mean I necessarily see them giving them what they want. King Azza says, Tom, do you see Cody and Kevin Owens having a rematch at Bad Blood? No. Ed says we should have Tom dress as Dom Mysterio for the Halloween time show. I mean, all I'd have to do really is shave and not shave the mustache. I could do that. I'm not growing a mullet because I basically already have one. No worries, Declan. I'm a Villain says, thanks, Tom, you're the best. No worries, I appreciate you. Danny says, hello, guys. Smash up the likes. Tom is the top guy. Sorry I've not been watching, been super busy. No worries, mate. You never have to apologise because you've got a busy life. Enjoy your busy life. Spider-Boss says, to be a full-timer, Liv Morgan has few title defences and a 100-day title reign. They don't really believe there's any proper competition for her. TJ says, is there a possibility Stone Cold makes another in-ring return at WrestleMania at all since it is in Nevada? Yes. Ed wants the wig. Maggie says, my like button's working again. I'm powerbombing it as we speak. For those unaware, and I appreciate you, Maggie, for doing this, you can repeatedly tap a like button. Just as long as you make sure it ends on like and not like, you can repeatedly tap it, and it does come through as, engagement. You can also, of course, chat. Trekipedia says, any chance Raw will be TV14 on Netflix? To my knowledge, there's not an intention to do that, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. Man says, I got sad typing that as well, Tom. I was watching that Triple H interview the other day, same day as the Raw. It was weird, I won't lie, and got emotional. Hammer Villain says, Stone Cold versus Punk would be fun, or even as a tag team. Could be fun. Could indeed be fun. We have indeed hit 60 likes. Thank you, everyone, for your continued support there. Bit of news then. So, good news on the channel. Over the course of the last week, we've had 110,000 views. You know how I was going for the million? 110,000 views. This is largely led by our coverage of Bash in Berlin, which is still getting views now, and it is primarily in the Shorts feed, but views are higher than they've ever been. Watch hours higher than they've ever been. Subscriber growth also doing great. This is a great time for the Tom Colohue channel, and I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's doing everything they can, watching all of the content as much as they can, and doing everything to support this channel. Even watching a full short or leaving it on for a couple of runs through does great things for this channel. So I want to say a massive thank you. I'm actually seeing on the Shorts feed views coming directly from Shorts to my long form videos as well. And you may have noticed, those who haven't already, I'll let you in on the secret, I changed what I'm doing with Shorts recently, and it guarantees that YouTube search is driving a hell of a lot of traffic my way. Now, I cannot keep up the pace that has given me 110,000 views. It simply isn't possible. But Bash in Berlin might be out of the way, but all of those views that I've got are views that are likely to come back every single short, that are likely to come back if I put more focus on the same topics, that are likely to come back when we get to Bad Blood. Great time for the Tom Colohue channel. Thank you to all of you for supporting. Roman Reigns is expected to return next week on SmackDown. You may notice the reporting from Dave Meltzer suggesting that Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa will headline the first SmackDown on the USA Network. That, to my knowledge, is indeed the plan. We are waiting on a formal announcement, but Roman Reigns is expected to return on the first SmackDown on the USA Network to interfere with a Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa showing. What happens next at Bad Blood, we'll have to wait to see. I do not expect Roman to travel to Saudi Arabia, much like I don't expect CM Punk, so we'll see more as it comes together for that one. But they are top-loading pretty heavily when it comes to what happens next. Spider-Boss says it was weird that Alba Fire and Isla Dawn had to win a contenders match to get their rematch for Bianca and Jade. It actually wasn't. They don't do automatic rematches anymore. Thank you very kindly, Maggie. Trekipedia going for 70 likes now. That is someone who is on a mission. I appreciate you, mate. Maggie says, Tom, that's awesome. So pleased for you. You absolutely deserve it. Thank you, Maggie. Declan says, you are welcome. I appreciate you, Declan. Spider-Boss says, do you think the Renegade Twins will join Mercedes and Camille? At this point, I'm waiting to see what happens. Trekipedia says, congrats, Tom. Thank you, Trekipedia. TJ says, congratulations, Tom. You're killing it. Love that you're very real and say it how it is. No assumptions whatsoever. I try not to. I appreciate you. It's very nice. It's a very nice thing to say. We're not on track as of yet for the million that we were originally aiming for, but we're a hell of a lot closer than we were, I'll tell you that. If we can just try and keep this going, we'll be in a very happy spot. So let's see what we can do. I will continue to post the same way that I have been with the shorts, and we'll see what we can make happen, because every short that I make that does good numbers drives traffic to other shorts as well. The trick with shorts that I've found, don't try and get them in the shorts feed. Don't. They'll automatically go into the shorts feed if people are watching them regularly. So give people a reason, independently of the shorts feed, to watch that one. Go for YouTube search. Make it so that people find your work via YouTube search, and the shorts feed will work for you. KJ says, what's up, Tom? And yeah, I've noticed your new way of posting shorts. I like it. Appreciate that. Also says, congrats on all of the success. Thank you very kindly. King Azza says, Tom, if WWE still did The Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania 40, you think Cody would have won at SummerSlam instead? That's a guess based on an assumption. Maggie says, I'm so excited for Roman's return. I've missed him. Calvin says, do you see WWE bringing back Shotgun Saturday Night and Sunday Night Heat full time? No. And Villain says, shorts of the future. Keep going with the shorts. Your channel will have a major boom in due time. It has. We've had 160 extra subscribers this week as well. When I started this show, we were only 2 subscribers of 6,800. Last show we did, we weren't even at 6,700. So yeah, 2 more subscribers. Just two. Gets us to 6,800. It didn't feel like long ago that people were mocking me for having a 6.66. What a world we live in. Let's keep that gravy train going. Gordy says, starting on Monday, Raw, SmackDown and NXT will all be on USA Network. Limited commercial interruptions for the next 3 weeks. Again, a very good time to be a wrestling fan. Dad says, who do you think will be inducted in the Hall of Fame, Bray or Sid, next year? Both. The other Mike says, thank God the Cody solo match isn't on the Bad Blood card. Cody KO2 is much more interesting for the Bad Blood card. I don't believe we'll get a rematch on that one. Spider-Boss says, Io Sky went from Miz Money in the Bank and WWE Women's Champion to now competing on Speed. I thought Io could be an opponent for Liv Morgan, heel versus heel. Although, to be fair, they have swapped round. No, Martin, I've been avoiding reading what you're saying because I know that you're speaking to Danny. I know that. We're all good. I'm reading over what you're saying while I'm talking and understanding what you're going for. Thank you very much, Boogie Streams, for subscribing to the YouTube side, helping us approach that 6,800 mark. I do feel confident now that we'll end the year on at least 7,000, and we are really picking up pace and momentum here. We'll keep going. I'm in a very good place, and I'm very grateful. Thank you, Boogie Streams. Bayley versus Tiffany Stratton is a feud that's about to kick in on tonight's SmackDown, as I reported a couple of weeks ago. Bayley versus Tiffany Stratton was the plan as soon as Bayley returns. It is in fact why Tiffany Stratton was originally put together with Nia Jax. This essentially gives us a non-championship feud, which will keep things interesting until Nia Jax has new opponents as well. It's also why, as I mentioned during the Bad Blood preview, Nia Jax is being considered a SmackDown champion rather than a PLE champion. Horatio says, is there any chance John Cena gets inducted before WrestleMania 41 since it's his last? There's a chance. I suspect he'll be inducted at WrestleMania 42 after he has retired. Spider-Boss says, Damage Control recently turned babyface after their match with the Sonya Deville's group. True, if anything, it was a return. The other Mike says, any word on what the international PLE location will be for 2025? There is interest in going back to France. There is also, as usual, interest in going back to the UK. At this point, they are waiting for some pretty big money offers. There's apparently some interest from South America that they want to look into. Custom May says, when will Dustin Rhodes return to WWE? I don't suspect he will. He's pretty happy overall in AEW. Calvin says, will we see Corbin and Cruz versus A-Town Down Under tonight? I don't have the rundown at this point, and I've shared everything I know on that one. Wargames says, it sucks when you see the IWC running wild and vague reports from the usual suspects rather than listening to Tom's actual reporting. Hope that changes soon. You deserve the attention. Appreciate that, Wargames. The bigger we get, the more likely that becomes. The more individuals like yourself want it, the more likely it is. Because if outlets can guarantee views from yourselves, chances are they'll be running my work. They just need to justify it in a way that says, you'll make money from this. That's all it is. Calvin says, it probably won't happen tonight, but who exactly turns on who when it comes to A-Town Down Under? I'd imagine Waller turns on Theory because Theory is going to be the face. Valencia says, is Sheamus' contract coming up soon? Imagine he might have had some injury time added on. He did, and he's still got a little while. Abba Villain says, just out of curiosity, are there any new belts arriving to WWE by the end of the year? The only one I'm aware of is the Speed Women's Championship. Right, what have we got next? WWE are thrilled with the early Julia interactions and the reception on social media for her arrival. Stephanie Vaca is already close to being ready, will likely debut after Roxanne Perez loses the gold. Julia is your next NXT Women's Champion. Stephanie Vaca will be working pretty much immediately after Roxanne moves on. That is also when you're likely to see Delta arrive too. Gabriel says, if Roman is working Bad Blood, will he steal the main event from CM Punk and Drew McIntyre? You can't really steal something that hasn't already been promised. Triple H likes to have the champions in the top spots after all. And now our last piece of news is as regards the new deals for a number of WWE wrestlers. I can see people pushing for more likes. We have 66, 4 more guesses to 70. We're already on 290 views, which is also a pretty good number. We've peaked so far as regards viewership at 109, which, considering I didn't advertise this show at all, still pretty good. Spider-Boss says, so far I love Mercedes Money's AEW run. AEW treats Mercedes as one of their top stars. Recent WWE signings and renewals of contracts have come with a restructuring, so it is not simply a case of here is a new deal, here's your amount of money and here's your amount of dates. It's also here's where we expect you to be on the card for the duration of this deal. Wrestlers that WWE are keeping for lower card and aren't too worried about losing are getting relatively small offers, and I'm told that the offer for Shayna Baszler did not come with any significant pay rise. WWE being very clear that certain individuals are not there to hold championships. It's also one of the reasons that Bobby Lashley and MVP have now left the company. They were told you will not have championships, and Bobby Lashley said, I won't have championships here, which I think was pretty cool overall. There are some enhancement contracts being floated around amongst locker room members also. Essentially, it means that people are being offered deals to work almost exclusively as enhancement talent, people such as Humberto Carrillo and, from what I'm being told, Ricochet, which I do find very interesting. What I will say at this point is that that's all the news I have to share today. So, maybe a relatively short one. We are going to wrap it up there. I want to say a massive thank you to all of you for joining us. We will be live again on Monday, and we will have WTF Wrestling on Sunday as well for you to enjoy. In the meantime, keep an eye on the shorts feed because there's plenty of good stuff coming your way. I've been Tom Colohue. You have been fantastic, and I'll see you all very soon.